All right, and we're live. Let's do it, everybody. Yeah, Hollywood. The boombox had its share of caffeine. Absolutely. Howdy, howdy, everyone. So first off, I want to apologize about last night. I came home and we had a family emergency, so I was sitting in the hospital taking care of things. Not me, and everybody's okay. Everything's fine. Just a little bruised up, and they're gonna recover. They're absolutely fine. Clean bill health otherwise. So that is why there was no NorCal SwapNet live last night. The radio was fine. Everybody was great there, from what I understand, but just couldn't make it to live. But with that, I want to introduce, if no one has heard of him, Bill. VE7AJK. Good evening, Bill.
Hey, Frank. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thanks for coming on. So, you told me about a new little site you have that you got set up.
Yeah, I just launched it a couple of weeks ago. It's hamradioprices.com. And the goal of it is to help other hams find the best deals on their amateur radio gear. So I've started with radios. I might expand it out to other
There we
gear
go.
eventually. But it's basically a price tracker. So if you're familiar, there's a website for video games that I use called Deku Deals. So if I want to buy a game on Switch, you can go on there and you can pick a game, see what the current price is, see if it's been on sale before, and things like that. And that was kind of my inspiration for this. So it's tracking a few of the top retailers. I'm going to add more as time goes on, and it's just basically to help us hams find out where we can get the best deals on our equipment.
Very nice. So, I'm going to plus this up a little bit so it can be
Sure.
seen better and move myself over because you're fine. It's my camera's all wonky. So, I went over this site real quick. Very nice setup, very 21st century. AOL did not call wanting their web design back. That's a plus, especially for us ham radio guys. Uh and yeah, I just so before we dive into the questions, because I have a few questions for you, I just want to
Sure.
look at a couple of these pages. It is very, very comprehensive. I see you list out each of the
Retailers.
caffeine is not my friend tonight. I'll tell you that, and I'm not having it. So I apologize if I stumble through this. Uh, each of the outlets, Gigapart, Ham Radio, RNL, DX Engineering, and what their current price is and where the prices have been, which is even better. So apparently, looks like DX Engineering is a little high, and right now, Gigaparts would be the one you probably Gigaparts, or I guess HRO or RNL. If you're RNL, uh,
Yeah.
get
And
over
actually,
there.
on that one, just one thing to point, I think DX is actually the same price as all of them. For some reason, it's showing a little bit more.
Okay,
Uh, so it's not perfect yet. And I should point out too that this is just a reference guide. I'm not guaranteeing any prices, and I'm not making a
absolutely.
commission or anything. It's just a reference guide for other hams.
Let's hear. I'm curious now what DX Engineering says. Uh, okay, so yeah, it's 1,099 with a $300 rebate, which brings it down to the 999.95. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's the same as everything else. It just something didn't pull the data, which is absolutely fine. But hey,
Yeah.
that's awesome, And you have all the radios, mobile, base, handhelds. I think I saw yeah, Baofeng and Radio Oddity in here. Do you have any of the Quanshangs down here? No,
I
I could
think there's a
probably.
couple. If you go up to the top, you can filter by brand now. So you should be able to see all the
Oh,
different brands that are on there.
yeah. Oh, I don't see Quashang on here or Quashang, Kushang,
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
I see Wushang though, so that's good. Maybe they're under a different name. But if we sort by Radio Oddity, yeah, that's pretty nice. And then you can even go, for those that want the under $100 radios, there you go. So I'm going to pull that off for now. And chat, I do apologize. I'm trying to pay attention to you guys as well. Uh, welcome to everybody. I see Paul, Chris, Mr. Mud, Wes. Wes is a little drunky, I think he said. Let's
Yeah,
let's
I
see
want to know
what.
what he's drinking. He said it was 9%.
Yeah,
Sounds
that's
pretty strong. That's a light beer in Saskatchewan, though.
yeah, fair enough. Well, anything stronger than Miller Lite is a heavy beer for some of us. I see Travis and of course Hollywood in there. So yeah, Wes, what kind of beer is it? While we're waiting for that, uh, so I put together 10 questions that I wanted to ask Bill here and see what his input was on how he did this. So, Bill, the first question: what inspired you to create the website, and what's the primary goal of the website? You sort of touched on it already, but
Yeah, I just wanted to have some sort of project. Like this is what I do professionally. I do web development and programming, and uh, I just wanted to do something for fun for once instead of just doing it professionally. And this has always been a project in the back of my mind. So I did like a quick prototype and saw if it's actually feasible and how hard it's going to be, and it was all coming together, and had some fun with it. And then I thought, well, let's just release it. So about a couple weeks ago, I did kind of a soft launch and told a few people about it, and then
that was about the time you told me, right?
yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. And then maybe about a week ago, I started, actually saying to people like, "Hey, it's out there," and I've had really good reception so far. I put a post on. There's two subreddits for ham radio on Reddit, and
Yeah.
I got a lot of good responses on there. Usually, like when you post stuff online, you get a lot of negative. There is
Right.
obviously a couple negative for sure, but yeah, lots of positive comments. I got a couple private messages. Someone said that the site actually saved them $70 already because they were
Hey.
about to buy a radio and check the site and saw. I don't think they didn't see it on Ham Radio Outlet. I think it was, and my
Huh.
site showed them that. So yeah, that was basically the goal. Just for me to be creative and do something, and then to help out the amateur community.
Very cool. And obviously, we I think we can skip my second question. Who's the primary target audience? I think as hams,
Yeah,
we all know it's hams.
yeah,
But those that probably want to try to get into ham radio would probably benefit from it too, right?
yeah. I think so. I think it's good for those who are newly licensed, and I've put a few blog articles on there too, trying to guide them. So if you got a new license, you don't know really what you want to do, but you just want to get on the air. You can go on there and look at those HTs under $100 and get a Baofeng and just get on the air. It's not going to be the best radio you ever own, but it's going to get you on the air at least.
Yeah, let's see. How much does it cost to start in the ham radio hobby? What is the ham radio hobby? A beginner's guide, what you need to know. All very fantastic articles. Ooh, even Poda versus Soda. That's a good way to do it. What's funny about it, actually, your first article here, your first Poda radio, we were just having that discussion in my club's Telegram Poda Soda Discord, or not Discord, but Telegram channel. So I think I'll
Okay.
drop them that link and let them read it and see what they, because we have a new guy that's trying to put all his gear together and figure out what he needs for soda and
Yeah.
Poda and all that. And so we'll go with that.
Nice.
Being a new site, what are the most popular features of the site, and are there any new features in development?
I think right now the most popular is just that search page where you can filter by brand, uh, by the retailer, the price, and all that. That seems to be pretty popular. I'm hoping as time goes on that price history chart will be beneficial because right now there's only about 2 weeks worth of data, so it's not
Right.
really providing much value. But as time goes on, that's really gonna you can see like, oh, okay, all the retailers seem to have a Black Friday sale or a Christmas sale, so you might want to
Exactly.
wait a few months before you make that purchase. And new features in development. Yeah, I eventually want to have it so that if there's a wish list feature, so you can add radios to your wish list, and
Okay.
I want to allow users to be notified when those go on sale. So you'll get an email. If you're trying to get a ICOM 7300 and it goes down $200, you can get an email saying, "Hey, it's now on sale. Uh, click on these retailers to get the discount. So that's coming soon. I'm just before I unleash that, because it is email, I want to make sure it's all working properly and I'm not just spamming
Fair enough.
unnecessarily. Um, there's a lot of features, probably nothing too mind blowing, but a lot of feedback that I got from the community so far. So I'm gonna add a few tweaks, maybe to the user interface just a little bit. But I'm definitely open to suggestions. So if anyone has an idea, like put it in the chat or just contact me afterwards. My contact is on the page, and I would take a look.
And I noticed something here, and I'm going to bring it up because I don't see them in the chat yet. But I noticed you have 6-meter rigs listed as well. If you hit the tag for 6-meter, that non-existent band. Trying to spend my money already. I see the Linko and the icon here, and I'm like, oh, I might want to get that Linko because that's not a bad price, all things considered, and
I know.
that's a good mobile rig.
It's
So,
been hard to resist making purchases while making this, because I learned a lot of radios that I don't normally don't look at,
right.
and there's some cool ones out there. Yeah, so I
Already
thought
out
the
here
6 meter
spending
tag
my
would be
money
helpful.
too, and we're not even we're what, like 13 minutes in. So how do you ensure the accuracy, or do you, of the an up-to-date nature of the pricing information? I know you mentioned that the pricing might not be 100%.
Yeah, I don't ensure the accuracy. It's more of a guide. Be sure to check that when you actually go and make the purchase. So I'm just doing the best I can to provide you the information. But if I do see inaccuracies, I go in and fix those through a bug fix.
Okay,
Um, and I'm basically fetching the information from each of the retailers at night, so they should be accurate, or as much accurate as possible in the mornings when you come online.
there you go. And Wes, absolutely, we need to do that. Get Bill and Simon in a park. Get you in a park. Get me in a park. Maybe get Tim out there in Indiana in a park. Get us all in parks and try and work each other. Can you imagine how quickly we'd get the 10 activations in, or the 10 contacts in, and try it on all the bands? Then you get your N1CC. Uh, so okay, this I'm going to modify this question a little bit. It's the fifth
Okay.
question. Are there any other sites like this out there, and how does yours set itself apart from them if there are?
I don't think there is, because I tried looking for them before, just to see if it's been done. If someone's doing it really well, then I wasn't going to bother. I might be wrong, and I'm happy to be proven wrong if there is other sites like that, but I
Right.
didn't see any.
I
They are
I
pretty
don't know
common
of
in, like,
any.
you don't know of any either?
And I've been a ham for 20. This October will be 23 years now.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know, because in like video games and computer games, these sites are fairly common, and I thought,
Right.
let's make one for ham radio. Why not?
Well, that's good. So you're already setting the bar up there for everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. A low bar, but there is a bar.
Hey, it's a bar and it's somewhere. That's the important part. As long as it's not sitting on the ground or below ground, we're good. Uh, so you mentioned you received some feedback from perhaps Reddit and whatnot. Have you received any particularly valuable feedback?
Yeah, I was actually pretty impressed with the amount of positive feedback and constructive feedback. There's always a couple like, "What's the point of this? You don't need this," and whatever. And I was expecting a lot of that, because it's
Right.
online, and that's what you get. But there was really good feedback. One was the brand filter on the search page. That wasn't there initially, and someone asked for that,
Okay.
and so I did that pretty quickly and added that. And then another person asked, on the main page, there didn't always have the search bar at the top.
Oh,
Someone asked if
okay.
that could be added, and I thought, oh yeah, that's just something I didn't think of, so added that. And there was one user who sent me a message, and he must be a web developer too, and because my web development experience is mainly back end stuff. I'm not I'm
Right.
not a front end guy, so I think this person definitely was a front end, because they had a lot of more of the graphical and user experience suggestions. So I still need to go through all the suggestions they gave me and apply a lot of them, because it was a gold mine of information that person sent me.
Well, whoever, you said you're more back end, not so much more front end. Whoever helped you with the front end, being able to just do this, boom, 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 and done, that is, as I said in the beginning, 1990 has not called for their domain stuff back, because this would even impress Coffee and Ham Radio's Jim. This would impress him absolutely. I can come down here. Let's say I want to look at this new 3165. All I have to do is click on it, and boom, there I am on the product page on your site. I absolutely love that. And then if I click on Ham Radio Outlet, well, of course, it's not going to open. It's not going to show on screen because I
Right.
only sharing this one tab. But boom, it opened up to a new tab. So
Yeah, I wanted to
absolutely
try and make it
fantastic.
look. There's that stereotype of ham radio websites having that 1990s look, and
Yeah.
I wanted it to be a modern website, and it also works on mobile too. So if you're on your phone, it should be uh, just as good, I think. If it's not, let me know, because I'm all new to the mobile development too. But it should work just fine on your mobile phone.
I haven't even looked at my mobile for that yet. I'll do that after the stream, and I'll let you know. Or
Okay.
if someone in the chat wants to do that and let us know live, go for it. Um, so this is going to be the big one for a lot of people, I think. Is the site monetized, and if so, how? And are you, and if it is, are you going to dip into other revenue streams?
It's not monetized at all right now. I'm not opposed to that in the future if it does happen, but that's not my goal with this. It was just to get this out and get it out there. So if any of the retailers do want to have some sort of affiliate partnership or advertise, I'm not opposed to that in the future. But as for right now, my goal is just to get the site uh, looking good, getting the data accurate, fixing any bugs that come in, and expanding it.
There you go. I see Quirky James in the chat. Maybe he can be your first ad revenue.
Yeah,
Because
sure. Yeah, reach out. There's contact information on the page. So
he has ads up on QRZ, so I know that would James, get together with Bill if you want. Okay, so relatively new site still. What challenges have you faced while getting it together, maintaining it, updating it, and have you done anything major to overcome them?
uh not really too many major challenges. It's just been a lot of tedious work adding all the information about the radios. I guess one challenge I had was like if you look at a product on the site, there's a little, usually about 3 paragraph blurb about each radio, and
Over
I
here on
didn't.
the far right.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I wanted to have, I couldn't just copy and paste it, because some of the retailers would have very specific information to their store, and I wanted to be generic.
right.
So I ended up using some AI magic for that. So I kind of took the raw data from, like, if it was a Yaesu radio, go to the Yaesu page, and then just help me out with that. So there was a lot of tedious work at the beginning, because I think there's probably around 150 radios listed. So I needed to manually add all those to the database to get it going. But that was probably the biggest challenge, if you want to call it that.
Let's see. Okay, so there's something for you. Put how many radios per page up here at the top right.
Okay, yeah, I could do it. It is at the bottom, I believe, but I can add that to the top too.
No, just show very hard to read.
Okay.
Showing 1 through 50 of 138 results.
Yeah,
So
okay, that's a good
that's how it
point.
looks normally, and then when I highlight it, you can see it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see. You're right.
So there
Yeah,
you
so
go.
138.
You're already getting troubleshoot stuff going on here.
Well, that's good. I appreciate the feedback. And as I said, I'm not a front end guy, so I used to be, like, years and years ago, and I've
Right.
just been more of a back end developer. So that was another reason I did this too. I wanted to, like, get up to speed on the front end world that I haven't been in for a long time, and do some of that.
Absolutely. And James says he's all ears, so I might link you two up in Discord.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, we'll talk, James.
Uh, Expansion plans. Do you have any plans to expand the site beyond pricing comparisons, such as reviews, tutorials, or forums for enthusiasts?
Yeah, I think so. Some of my plans are eventually, I think I'd like to feature some other type of gear besides radios. Um, so I'm kind of just waiting to see what the user base wants. I'm not sure if antennas would be good to add or coax or I don't know. Um, so that's one idea, and I think having reviews would be good too. You know, where you can because
Oh,
right now,
absolutely.
yeah, as a user, if you make an account, you can add radios to your wish list, and that's kind of all you can really do. But it'd be ideal, I think, if you could add either a star rating or that plus a little bit of text, and then at some point, once I get enough data on that, you could go in and see what the top rated radios are, what the most wished for radios are. Yeah, and maybe a forum at some point. I don't know. That might be a bit time consuming with
Oh
moderation. I'm
yeah.
not sure, but whatever the user base wants, whatever comes up a lot, I will, as long as it's feasible. And I'm just a one man show, so if it's something totally time consuming, I might not be able to do it. But
Well,
I want to hear from the user base and have what features they want.
I will say this: as far as the forums go, you could easily you. I don't know about Simon, so I won't speak for him. But for me, on my Discord, we could set up a subthread for the website,
Mm,
and just any any questions or whatever can be put in there for you to answer or talk about or whatever. James has a good question. What about non-ham radios such as GMRS, mirrors, CB, and scanners?
yeah, I can technically, yeah, I could definitely add those in. If there's enough demand for it, why not? I'm not sure if it's hard to say. Like I personally, I don't care. Like I would love to add them, but I'm not sure if some people would be against that. Or I guess as long as it's easy to filter it out. I don't
Yeah,
know.
couple good filters and you're good to go.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that would be fun. And scanners would be great too.
At least for as long as they'll be able to survive. Because I know a lot of public safety here in the U.S. and I'm not so sure about Canada, but here in the U.S., a lot of stuff is not only going to 7,800 trunking,
Mm.
P25 Phase 2, but a lot of it is also going encrypted finally.
Yeah, they did that. I remember when I was young, like a teenager, you could hear all the local police and everything, but I think they've all gone to the truncated systems.
There's some areas. James, he's just south of me here in California. He's down in the Central Valley.
Okay.
His area is still transitioning, but you can still listen to them on a P25 scanner. And my area, we're still 100% analog. So
Okay.
there's a good mix. So scanners, yeah, you could still listen to air and marine traffic, but then
Hmm.
you have radios for that too. Um, Guys, drop any questions you might have for Bill in the chat while we're going down this list here that I have, because we definitely, I want to get all the questions we can, and I'm sure Bill's willing to answer as much as he can too.
Yeah, definitely.
And okay, this sort of goes to the forums bit. And are there any opportunities for users to contribute or interact, like submitting pricing data, reviews, or participating in discussions? I think my key takeaway there is, can they is there any way to get people to interact to submit pricing data, like if they see an update at say RNL that a radio's gone on sale for 5% more than what you have, 5% less than what you have it for, can they submit that data?
Not currently, but I've had a few people ask about that, so I think I will add something like that in the future. Kind of like what's that website, the Gas Buddy? Where you
Right.
see a gas station down the street has gas on sale for 10 cents, and you put an alert in. So yeah, maybe something like that. That would definitely be an option to do. And then, as I said, yeah, reviews. I'm hoping I can get on there pretty soon.
Okay. And Ed brings up a good question. It's similar to the previous question. Will there be an expansion into antennas regarding pricing?
Yeah, that's kind of like what I feel is the next natural step. I wanted to start with radios, uh, you know, work all the quirks out and get that stabilized, and then look to see what else to add. So I feel like antennas should be the next natural step. But if there's a lot of users who think of something else to add, that would be another big category. I could do that instead. But yeah, antennas I think is the most natural, unless I'm totally missing something else.
Well, there we go. There you go, Ed. Um, hmm. I'm trying to go through my list here. I've added to it in the time that we've been talking here.
Yeah, sure.
Uh, Obviously, we know you source your pricing data from the manufacturers, right?
Well, from the retailer websites, yeah,
Right, from
yeah,
like HRO or RNL, and you
yeah,
pull it nightly. You said
yeah. Doing web scraping, so it goes in the middle of the night and gets the prices for all the products on the site.
fantastic. And have you used any strategies to drive traffic to your site other than promotion? On Reddit and whatnot.
Yeah, and this is actually another reason I did this. I'm not familiar in that world, like the web marketing world and SEO and all that. So I've learned a little bit about that. So those blog articles were one way
Right.
of trying to get it out. So I made a Twitter account for it and was putting out the articles that I read or that I wrote. And I saw a little bit of traffic from that, and then but as soon as I put it on the subreddit, so I there's the ham radio subreddit. I put it on there first because I think it's a smaller community.
I think
And then
so.
there's the amateur radio subreddit. But I wasn't quite sure about that one because there was a rule about self promotion. So I contacted the moderators and they said, as long as you are participating in the community, for my case, it was fine. And those two, ever since I did that, I got a good amount of traffic on there. And since then, it's been pretty steady. So that was a good way. But those are the only two things I've done. It's only been a couple of weeks, so I'm going to keep at it and experiment with different things.
So James wants the Twitter link. James, I just posted that.
Oh,
And I was just
thanks, man.
looking it up. Uh, the ham radio subreddit has 82,000 members, and the amateur radio subreddit has 166,000.
Okay.
Yeah, two very big subreddits. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. 4 5, yes. If you have an HT on your hip while eating, it still counts. Absolutely. Uh, you mentioned it should be mobile, optimized for mobile devices. Uh, have you considered developing a mobile app?
Maybe at some point. That's something I don't have too much experience in, but I think this would be a good learning opportunity. So it's not out of the question. Basically, whatever the users demand, if I can do it and a lot of people would want that, then I don't see why I wouldn't.
All right. And James, absolutely. Yeah, it's not self promotion if you self diagnose yourself with multiple personality
That's a
disorder.
great point.
Absolutely. Okay, so I have a fun question here because I'm trying to remember. RNL is the UK reseller, right? Or is
I'm not sure.
which one?
There's
Which one am I thinking of? There's one.
Is it ML&S? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
that's the
Okay.
one.
Something
Have
in Sons.
Yeah, have you thought about providing pricing information for overseas at all?
Yeah, and that's it is. I have, and it has a Canadian too. You'll notice all the prices on there are the US dollar.
Right.
So the currency conversion is just one area I don't want to get into right now because that just
Fair
starts
enough.
complicating a lot of things. But yeah, I think I will eventually. And maybe if there's a way, I could just everything's stored in US dollar and everyone just knows it's US dollar because as a Canadian, I know that the prices are going to be a little bit higher, but still like relative, I can see who probably has the best price. So yeah, I might do that eventually, or I might do some currency conversion. I'm not sure.
That's good. Um, okay. Uh, this is a good one. What advice would you give to someone new to ham radio who visits your site for the first time?
I would say just get on the air as soon as you can and don't worry too much, or don't spend too much on your first radio, because I don't know if you'll know what you'll like and what you won't like until you get on the air. So you don't want to assume that you'll love VHF and spend, a couple $1,000s on a VHF rig for your house, and then realize, oh, you actually like doing POTA on HF out in the field, and
Right.
have to spend another $2,000 on something else. Or talk to the other people in your, if you're in a local club, talk to them, or join Frank's Discord and talk to the guys in there. Maybe find someone in your area who also has their license, and you can see their other radios. That's always fun. Like, I remember when Simon and I first met up, and he had the 7300, and I'd never seen one, and it's just fun to, like, you get to try it out and see what you like, and things like that. So that's what I would suggest.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you, Randy. Yeah, R&L's in Ohio. I forgot. I mix R&L and
Oh, okay.
ML and S up all the time. That's a me thing.
R&L's on the site. I added them as a retailer.
Yeah. And so that's why I was asking about MNLS or MNL, whatever it is. The
MLNS, I
UK.
think it is.
Yeah. So, I don't think the British pound is too far off from the US dollar and whatnot. So it might, maybe put a disclaimer of, these are American prices, adjust. I don't know how you would do that. That's interesting. That's something to think about.
Yeah.
Instead of doing the price conversion, be like, this is in, what we can get here, but it should be similar to it, something for future use. And James, yes, the price review should have an option to show how many Baofeng equivalents. So, okay.
That's a great idea.
So, James, the question though is,
Which
how many?
Feng?
So, well, no. The better question is, how do you convert Baofeng to Baofeng?
With 1-to-1, would one Baofeng cost one Feng?
Right. Stop sharing. There we go.
Yeah, I think that's a great
autos, idea. Right? He bought an 878 UV2 Plus, thinking he'd get into DMR, and it didn't work out that way.
Yeah. So, advice to new hams is don't spend too much money at the start if you can help it, and get your hands on as many radios as you can.
Don't have me take you shopping. Simple as that. Because I'm sure most people have seen my 2-part video so far, taking Sean shopping at HRO. $4,000 worth of gear. Yeah. Okay, so James says UV5R is the standard. So
okay.
That's your standard for fangs.
I really like that. I might add that just as a fun side project.
Fang to fang, yeah.
Yeah.
One 5R is one fang unit. And apparently Roger says he's checking out the app on his Android. So he must be in the browser on Android checking it out, since you don't actually have an app yet.
Yeah, let me know if you see any bugs, because, as I said, I'm not a front-end developer by any means, and even more so, not a mobile front-end developer.
And I dropped the link to the site again. There is contact information on the site and whatnot, and you even have a change log here. Not a whole lot, but
I've been neglecting it though. I need to update it.
Well, your last update was 12/22, so it's been a year. We're still within that 15-day period that it's been a year joke works.
Yeah, I got to update that. That was my intention, to keep that updated, but it always just slips the mind.
And I do know you have a Facebook page as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I added a Facebook page, basically just echoing the same posts I'm putting on Twitter and the blog. So just another way I thought I'd try and reach out and see what kind of activity we get on there. Just another way to try and promote the site.
That's there. And I do believe it. No, I haven't liked it yet. Well, now it's liked.
Oh, thanks, Frank.
Now it's me and Mr. Mud. So I'll drop that in the chat as well for those that have Facebook there.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Any fun things about the site? Any learning experiences that you've had to overcome with making this and getting it up and going?
just seeing all the different radios that I either didn't know about or only had like taken a brief look at, but after getting exposed to them for so long, it was really hard to resist not to make any purchases and to try some of them out. So yeah, I might have to buy
Mhm.
some more radios pretty soon.
Right? You got to try the product out. Make sure it's good to be on the site. Make
Yeah,
sure it's good to be on the site, right?
and I want to add some of the like some of the smaller company radios, like the QRP Lab radios, like the
Oh
QDX
yeah.
and those ones, and the True SDX. I have one of those. I want to get them on there as well because those ones are those are the types of radios I really like. So I want to get them on there as well.
So one thing I saw that I keep going back and forth here. I love it. One thing I saw on the 6 meter page I absolutely love. You have the Sun SDR and the SDR2 DX listed.
Yeah, I don't know anything about those ones. Have you used them at all?
No, but if Don N5SKT were in the chat, he would tell you all about them.
Yeah, I've never even heard of those until I started doing this. So I have no idea what they're all about, but they looked interesting.
Good afternoon, Rolly. Good to see you in the chat. Welcome. We got Poda Royalty in the chat. Oh wait, Tim's in the chat. I can't say that. But yeah, I saw that and I went, oh cool. And then I saw so up here on radios, I went down to QRP and I saw you have Lab 599 TX500 in here as well,
Yeah,
which is
I
absolutely
think
fantastic.
yeah, I was on. I think I was on Ham Radio Outlet. So
Yep, it is. Here,
yeah,
let
so
me.
added there.
There we
And yeah,
go.
some of
Make
those
it easier.
Zygu, I've never tried. I don't think I've tried any of the Zygu radios before. So it's really
I've
tempting
only
not
had
to.
experience with the G90.
Okay.
So, okay, here's a fun question. You have these listed as QRP. What do you consider QRP? Because there's different definitions
Yeah, I
depending
know.
upon who you ask.
Uh, I think it was just like to me, like the ones that are obviously QRP, like those Zygu ones. I think like 20 watts or below for HF. I
Okay.
don't know. I don't know.
Some people say 20, some people say 10. I've seen the official definition is 10 or less for sideband. So there
Mm.
you go. So you need to get the G90 in there then if you're going for 20 watts.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. I don't think it's tagged as QRP,
No,
so I
because
should do that.
when I was in there, it wasn't there.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It's not. Well, I can fix that. That's an easy fix.
And oh yeah, screen share. Duh, Frank, hello. Not like it's my first time live streaming or anything. What I love is you can, oh, it's not going to show it unless I share the screen a different way. Okay, let's go share screen, share window, share this. There we go. Now you guys can see all the nasty in the background. What I love, oh, it's still not going to show it.
Oh, the drop. Is it the drop down that you're trying
Yeah,
to?
the drop down.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure. Something to do with the
It,
screen sharing.
yeah, it's something to do with screen sharing. What I have to do is I have to come over and share. This should do it. Yeah, there
There
we
we
go.
go.
So you can sort by discount percentage, the amount, of course, price low, price high. Always do price low, always. And then A to Z. So let's see. If we go price lowest first, it looks like the Radio Oddity GC5 is currently the lowest priced radio across your whole website right now.
Yeah, and what's that? It's hard to see. That $15.
Yeah, $15.99.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy. $15.
You know that's pretty darn fantastic. And let's
Yeah.
see here. If we scroll down here to the bottom and go to page 3, which should be the highest priced radio, and that will be the Kenwood TS990S for $8,900. Yeah, that's still a bit pricey there.
Yeah, I can't make that commitment to a
No,
radio.
there's very few of us that can fully justify that. Absolutely. So, chat. Before we go off topic here for a little bit, because I told Bill probably just an hour or so here. any other questions for Bill here? Let's see here. Randy, burner radio. What? The GC15? Absolutely. Let's see here. Roger says in the search product fields, he can't clear the field and have it stay cleared after a failed search. Example GMRS.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, I should put that up there. I think it's the same with the filters too. I have to add a clear filters button so that it'll. Could you add a sort? I'm looking at some of the other questions here from James.
Yeah. Can you sort filter by built-in features like Bluetooth, GPS, TNC, or James? They all play Doom. You know this. Absolutely. Okay, let me share the right screen here. I'm gonna hit the home button to go back up to home. So yes, let's say you want to sort by GPS. You click on GPS. Oh wait, none of the products have GPS in them. Okay, that's fine. Let's see. Do you have
Oh, you know what I
TNC?
think it is? I think they do, but it's something I probably need to fix. I think because you were on the last page, it's the
Oh, well, we'll
yeah.
refresh the
Start
whole
again.
site.
Yeah, I need to fix that too.
Let's see. Go into radios. Let's go into base rigs, and let's sort by GPS. Yeah, there we go. So base and GPS. There's your Sun SDR2. Or let's just sort by GPS and let's say D star. You get the ICOM ID 52A plus 60th anniversary. Or let's switch it up. Let's undo GPS and let's say Bluetooth and DMR. Well, that's interesting. I don't think the FT5D does DMR.
Okay, I'll have to fix
It
that.
only does Fusion.
Yeah, I did my best with all these, and as I said, there was like 100 and so many, how many radios on there. And I'm just doing a
138, I
tagging
think, was the
system.
count.
What's that?
I think there's 138 was the final count that I saw of radios.
Yeah, so that's a quick fix. I can remove that. And if anyone else sees anything like that, just there's a contact section. Just contact me, and I can update that.
And it does HF only, as far as I know. That's one of those radios that I'm not 100% familiar with. So let's see. I'll show you exactly what we see here. And I'm going to have to plus that up. Oh, plussed up too far.
Yeah, I don't know much about this one either. It looks
It's
cool.
a cutting edge SDR transceiver. So, transmit and receive for HF and VHF bands, including direct down conversion, direct up conversion, independent receive and transmit paths, dual software receivers with sub receivers, and an 80 megahertz wideband 80 megahertz wideband band scope. There we go. Got to get the words right, Frank. So yes, it can do pretty much anything from the sounds of it. Hit the stop sharing there. 45. Yeah, these streams are handy. Shakedown cruises for web pages. Absolutely. No, what? Where? Oh yeah, I thought that was Dawn saying that. Yeah, 4-5. If you say Sun SDR 3 times, Dawn and 5 SKT will appear. I thought it was Dawn saying that about Dawn. I was mind blown. Never mind. Okay, yeah, 4-5. I don't think it's a little. It's only 9:46 for him, so he should be out. Oh yeah, that's right. He takes Wednesdays and Fridays off from watching live streams, so he's not going to catch this till tomorrow. James says, how about a product filter for HTs to let viewer know if the rig has spurious emissions above or below acceptable limits based on AI web searches of those rigs?
Sure. I could do that.
So I think what he really wants, because I'm actually home, I can pull these out. I think what he really wants to know is have AI go through everybody's YouTube videos that does reviews and ask which one of these two talk pods is clean or Baofeng, whichever one you want. And Mike, good morning to you. No Motorola? Motorola's out of most hams price range, Mike. That's an expensive hobby within the hobby.
Well, we can add it if I find a retailer that has it, then it should be fine to add those in.
eBay.
Oh, okay. That
Yeah.
might be tricky. I'll have to look. Someone else mentioned eBay and putting used radios on there as well, which I think
Okay.
would be beneficial. But then that opens up a whole other can of worms that I'd have to manage.
Right.
So maybe in the future, I'm not going to say no, but it's just trying to get to just the new market first, and then we'll see how it goes from there.
Tim, I would not be surprised if he's lurking and just doesn't want to make his presence known. Oh, and Mike said Motorola for me because, I'm the Motorola guy. So, well, one of the two of us. Yeah. There's me and Ginger Shane down in SoCal. Oh, James out here. So this is the guy, Bill. If you're not familiar, James is Quirky QRP. He makes those funny shirts that I'll wear on stream sometimes.
Okay.
The Bro Do You Even
Yeah.
shirts.
Yeah.
Okay, that's James right here. So he's since Jody's not here, James is bringing the American sass to the stream today. Because Jody V5SAR, he's the Canadian sass. Well, James is the American sass.
Nice.
So, chat, any other questions or anything? I'm sure you guys are quite interested, I hope. This is definitely a great site, Bill. I'm glad you did something like this. I'm I'm sitting here going, oh, some of these radios are actually cheaper than I thought they were.
Yeah, some of those they're not on the site, but I just doing research, I saw some of these new radios, or maybe they're new to me, that have APRS that are. I think they only do it through the Bluetooth to your phone, and
Like the Vero N76.
I think that's the one. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I didn't know about those until I started doing more research, and those are really tempting too.
Oh well, I won't give you temporarily offline videos for them because they're addicting radios. I'll tell
Do
you
you have
that
one?
right now. I do not.
No.
To does.
Okay.
I want to get one though. They're about as cheap as the radio oddity stuff. Not
Yeah,
very expensive. So
I know it's really tempting.
let's see. Travis says, I remember doing QRP into the amp one time when Simon asked for QRP. I think it's the final output, Travis, that needs to be QRP, not what's going into the amplifier. But yeah, I get it. Roger says he really likes the site. So
Thanks,
there you
Roger.
go.
Appreciate it. Yeah, and thanks to everyone for all the great feedback. There's a lot here, so uh, it's just started. So I'll definitely apply a lot of the feedback that's here, and if you have any more, just reach out to me on the page.
And before we wrap it up here, so people understand a little bit, tell us, well, I grabbed something real quick and I'm going to mute myself and solo you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into ham radio, what, as much as you want to divulge what you do, for computers and whatnot. And I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure. So my dad is a ham as well. So I grew up watching my dad operate his station in his ham shack, and he had a huge tower, like I don't know, like 75, 100 feet, with a huge Yagi on top. This is still there. So I grew up watching him on the radio, and I would go on the radio with him. But then when we got the internet in the mid 90s or so, he kind of just fell out of love with ham radio, or stopped playing with it because the internet, is so easy to talk to everybody worldwide. And then I just always had it in the back of my mind, like, what is that? So in high school, I got my amateur radio license. But back then in Canada, I can't remember. I don't think you had HF privileges. I can't remember the regulations. So my license, we don't have like general and technician. It's I have basic with honors. I think it is
Okay.
the level I had. So I kind of dropped it because graduated high school, all you could do is VHF, and I don't live in a hugely populated area, and went on to college and just kind of forgot about radio. And then I remember this is probably like 2013, 2014 on YouTube. I was just like, oh, I should look up ham radio and see if there's any information online. and I found a whole bunch, and I was like, well, this is really cool. And and then I found out too, they changed the regulations in Canada so you could have you could go on HF if you have your basic with honors, which is what I have.
Right.
So I thought, well, that's interesting. Um, and then at that point, I was ready to spend some money on radios and stuff, but my wife and I wanted to go traveling. So I was like, oh, traveling or radios. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go traveling, and ham radio will always be there if I want to come back to it. I did buy a Baofeng though at that point, and I
There
still
you
have
go.
that. So um, when
James says
traveling,
James
what?
says that happened to a lot of hams in the 90s.
Yeah, I think so. I don't.
So
It seems to be like a common story. So then, gosh, probably 3 or 4 years ago, I remember like it was Christmas break, and I was up one night drinking eggnog and rum probably, and I was like, oh, I should look up ham radio. And I discovered POTA, and I'd heard about Summits on the Air before,
right.
but I'd never heard of Parks on the Air, and I started going down that rabbit hole, and I was like, oh wow, this is really cool, because I remember hearing about Summits on the Air and like in that same era, like 2013, 2014, because where I live, there's a lot of mountains, and I thought, well, that'd be
Right.
so cool to go up on the mountain and just see where you can get your signal out to. And then I heard about Parks on the Air, and I was like, oh, this is cool too. Like you could go to a quiet park and hear lots of signals. So I started going down that rabbit hole. And then I saw this guy on YouTube, Simon Ham Jazz, and he had just started his YouTube channel. And the only reason I found it because he was at a park that's close to where I live. And I was like, oh, there's some guy in my area that does this. And so just on a
Yelling at
whim,
people on the radio.
well, I don't think he was yelling at that point. This is like, I think it's his first video. If you go look at Simon's early videos, I think he's still pretty loud, but he wasn't as loud as he normally is. So just on a whim, I was like, oh, I'll just email this guy, like, hey, enjoyed your video. Like, he lives about an hour away from me. And then since then, I don't think there's been a day or two where we haven't chatted. Like, it just went from
Right.
there. So yeah, Simon's enthusiasm has really
Oh,
helped me.
absolutely.
Yeah, and we've done a few activations together, and it's just so much fun. And yeah, so then I started doing Parks on the Air and Summits on the Air, and really got into it. And it's that's basically the story.
Fantastic. 4-5 says alcohol abuse leads to amateur radio once again, and James
Yeah,
Quirky follows that up with eggnog and rum definitely brought a lot of people back to ham radio after the internet got weird.
yeah, and I think that was either the year of COVID or maybe the year after. And it's just like I wanted something I could do outside where it would be, it's like Poto and Stoa, I think, are such great hobbies because you're getting exercise, you're learning stuff, and I think it's good for your mental health too, because it's one of
Oh,
those things.
absolutely.
Yeah, when you're managing a pile up, like you cannot think about anything else. Like you're just in the zone for the amount of time, and then afterwards, it's kind of like, for me, anyways. I'm not sure if others feel it, but I just kind of feel like relaxed, and the adrenaline rush as well. It's a good feeling.
Oh, the adrenaline rush is something else. So going back here, James, I was telling you he's the guy from Quirky QRP. This is one of his shirts.
Oh yeah, I've seen those ones. Yeah, nice. I think I've been to James' website. Uh,
Yeah,
or
probably.
does he have an Etsy page too?
He
Maybe it's
does.
Etsy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I've
And
seen
then
this. It's cool stuff.
45 Auto said, I recently bought a Quansheng. It was pay $9 for shipping and get nothing, or pay 17 and get a burner radio. Yeah, that's one way to do it. Absolutely. So if you want, tell us a little bit about your computer background to help how you got into this site and whatnot.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I've always been interested in computers ever since I was a kid, and yeah, I've been working in software for about 20 years now, I think. So I started doing. I started in the early 2000s doing just web design. That was my first thing I wanted to do, and uh, it was fun. But if anyone else is a web developer, the early 2000s, it was hard to do. Yeah, you gotta get it right for all the browsers, and um, web development was fun, but I wanted to learn more of like the actual programming. So went back to school and learned how to do back end development, and then just kind of stuck on that route because You don't have to worry about the different browsers, and it was just
Right.
a lot easier. Uh, but then I thought, I keep try and keep my ear to the ground and hear what's going on in the front end world, and I keep hearing it's getting a little bit better. So that was one of the reasons I did this project. I wanted to learn more of the front end stuff, and it does seem a bit easier. And even now with the AI using Chat GPT, or there's a new IDE called Cursor, it's very helpful when you're doing development and need help with it.
Oh, absolutely. So James said, "Oh crap, he found me on the internet. My cover's blown. Time to wipe the drives." James, the Canadians already know. They've infiltrated Quirky. Don't even. It's too late. So just to give a frame of reference here, we were talking about how your website is very 2025, and a lot of times the 90s call and want their website back. And okay, so Bill, you've seen my soldering projects, right?
I
Or
don't know.
you've
I
heard
don't think
about
I
them,
have.
maybe?
No.
Okay, so I'm not the greatest soldering person, and I made a big thing of solder blob. Then it has been affectionately called solderoids by the community. I'll show you a picture later. I have to dig for it, and I'm not going to do that during the live. But just to give you an idea, uh, this is what my homepage looks like.
Nice.
Very, very simple. Very, I even have a little drop down menu. But you can go to the YouTube preview page. Oh, look, Simon Rockin' the Poda is my most recent thing here. This is a little bit out of date, but it's whatever. So yeah, the 90s called. They want my website back. Your website, however, is very 2025 and
Well, if you
absolutely fantastic.
look up a code ID called Cursor, and if you get that, I think you get a 2-week free trial. It's pretty amazing. You could just open your code source in there and say, "I want you to update the design of this, make it look a bit modern," and it would do it. It does it for you, and then you can approve it or reject it. It's pretty impressive.
Very cool. And yeah, so you were wondering if
Yeah.
Quirky,
Okay.
yeah,
I've been there. Yeah.
that's James. So he's been spotted and he's been found, and the
There's no
Canadians
going
are
back
always
now,
two
James.
steps ahead of him. Absolutely.
You're gonna get a whole bunch of Canadian orders now.
Right.
Word spreads fast up here.
But James, the solderoids need to be seen. I'll show you later, Bill. Um, well, I want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank you for getting this awesome site out there. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop Bill a email. There's contact information at the bottom of the website. And I actually think I'll set up a little subthread in my Discord server for your site, so that if anybody has any questions, you can come over to Discord and drop them there as well, and Bill can answer when he gets a chance.
That's
Eh,
awesome. Yeah, Frank, thanks so much for having me on, and thanks
Oh, of
everyone for
course.
watching. And yeah, I'm on the Discord too. So if anyone wants to chat with me on the Discord, just send me a message. I'm pretty sure it's my call sign is my screen name on there,
It's in there somewhere. Yeah, that's how I find you usually.
or just ask
So,
Frank. Frank will send you my way.
right. Well, you're in my Discord, so I'll just
Yep.
tag you at the top of the new thing I make. Until next time, everybody, I want to thank you for watching. And Bill, wave goodbye to the camera as I hit the outro. Later, guys.